Good morning/afternoon/evening. What if I told you that the difference between an ordinary life and an extraordinary one is not circumstance but state of mind, that what we call luck is not a random gift, but a result, a mirror of what we dare to believe about ourselves? Today, we're not here to discuss superstitions or strokes of chance. We are here to explore a truth that has shaped the lives of the most fulfilled individuals in history, that when you act as if you are the luckiest person in the world, your world begins to respond to you in kind. Not because life changes, but because you do. The assumption you hold about yourself and your life is not just a quiet background belief. It is the architect of your reality. Most people think that life happens to them, that circumstances dictate how they feel, and that luck is a rare blessing that occasionally falls upon a chosen few. But in truth, life does not respond to what we want, it responds to what we assume to be true. To understand this, imagine the mind as a projector and the world as the screen. You cannot change the film by touching the screen. You must return to the source, the reel of belief playing silently in the background. Your assumptions are that real. When you assume something deeply, emotionally, and consistently, you are not merely hoping. You are impressing your subconscious mind with an image that it begins to accept as fact. And once it does, your thoughts, behaviors, decisions, and even outer events begin to shape themselves around that belief. Now, what happens when you assume that you are the luckiest person in the world? Not temporarily, not conditionally, but as a natural state of being. Your subconscious begins to organize your life in a way that validates that identity. You begin to interpret events differently. Small inconveniences don't shake you because you believe better is coming. Uncertainty no longer intimidates you because you expect the unexpected to work in your favor. That quiet expectation becomes magnetic. It pulls into your life people, opportunities, and events that resonate with the energy of luck. But here's what's vital. You must make the assumption before the evidence shows up. That is the challenge and the secret. To assume you are lucky when nothing appears to be going your way is not delusion, it is discipline. You are training the inner world to lead, and trusting that the outer world will follow. This is not wishful thinking. It is conscious, deliberate creation, a mental habit formed through repetition and emotional involvement. Many people assume failure, rejection, or misfortune without even realizing it. They say things like, "I never get what I want," or "nothing ever works out for me," and then wonder why life seems to echo those patterns. What you believe about yourself becomes your script. Change the assumption, and you change the narrative. So begin now. Assume not blindly, but boldly that luck is with you. Walk in that state. Think from that identity. Let your actions, your speech, and your emotional tone reflect that inner truth. In time, life will have no choice but to rearrange itself around the story you tell yourself and the story you live from. This is the power of assumption. It is not magic, it is law. Imagination is not a childish escape from reality. It is the blueprint from which reality is built. Every structure you see, every invention you use, every advancement humanity has ever made, all of it began as a vision, a mental picture formed in the unseen realm of thought before it appeared in the visible world. Imagination is the womb of creation, and those who understand its power learn to use it consciously rather than letting it run wild under the influence of fear, doubt, or limitation. To act as if you are the luckiest person in the world requires more than outer behavior. It demands inner imagery. It is not enough to walk with confidence if inwardly you are imagining failure or misfortune. The mind, particularly the subconscious, responds not to empty actions, but to the emotional power of imagery. When you imagine something vividly and emotionally, as if it were already true, you plant it in the fertile ground of your subconscious mind. From there, it begins to take root and grow, often in ways you cannot consciously predict. Consider this: everything in your life that feels real now was once just a thought. You imagined yourself getting that job, meeting that person, making that decision, even if you did it unconsciously. The mistake many people make is to use their imagination reactively, always picturing what they fear, what they lack, or what might go wrong. They worry about outcomes, dwell on regrets, and replay failures, all forms of negative imagination. And yet, they are surprised when life reflects back exactly what they've rehearsed. To live as the luckiest person in the world, you must reclaim the creative power of your imagination. Begin by crafting mental scenes that reflect the life you desire, not as a distant wish, but as a present reality. See yourself receiving good news, feel the joy of unexpected success, hear the voices of others congratulating you. The key is not to wait for the world to give you permission to feel lucky. You must feel it first within, through the language of imagination. And this is not simply a mental exercise, it's a spiritual alignment. You are impressing your subconscious with the energy of fortune, favor, and flow. And because your external world is molded by the internal, that feeling once nurtured consistently begins to take form. Events, people, and opportunities will begin to organize themselves around the image you carry in your mind. So use your imagination deliberately. Visit the reality you wish to live in. And then return from that inner experience not hoping, but knowing that what you imagined has already begun its journey into the physical world. Imagination is not a luxury. It is the first step in all creation, and it is always within your control. To live as if you are the luckiest person in the world is not about convincing others. It's about embodying a feeling so deeply that your life begins to organize itself around it. The feeling is the bridge between desire and reality. It is the unseen force that breathes life into your thoughts and gives them the power to become real. Without feeling, thoughts remain empty shells, but when infused with feeling, they become commands impressed upon the subconscious, and the subconscious always obeys. Now, most people are conditioned to believe they must wait for results in order to feel good. They wait for the job offer to feel successful, for the relationship to feel loved, for the opportunity to feel fortunate. But this is a reversed order of creation. The truth is, your outer world is an echo of your inner state. The feeling must come first. You must feel lucky before the world has any visible reason to confirm it. Think about it. When you feel genuinely lucky, how do you carry yourself? There's an ease in your body, a calmness in your decisions, a quiet trust in the unfolding of events. You stop rushing. You stop forcing. You start flowing. You smile more. You're open to surprises. You interpret challenges not as dead ends, but as detours towards something better. This shift in perception alone can change the entire course of your life, and it begins with a choice to feel different before anything around you has changed. But embodying a feeling is not a one-time act. It is a practice. Just as an actor immerses themselves in a role, you are called to immerse yourself in the emotional atmosphere of luck. You do this by reminding yourself daily, not with mere affirmations, but through lived inner experience. Close your eyes, visualize a moment where everything worked out for you in the best possible way. How did that feel? Relief, joy, confidence. Now bring that same feeling into this moment, as if it already belongs to you, because it does. You are not pretending, you are remembering. You are aligning with a version of yourself that already exists, a version that walks through life with grace, synchronicity, and effortless success. By embodying the feeling now, you create a magnetic field around you that draws similar experiences. People will notice something different in you. Doors will open without explanation. Coincidences will begin to make sense. This is not fantasy. It is emotional intelligence at its highest level, the ability to choose your inner state regardless of external evidence. And in time, that inner state reshapes the external conditions to reflect it. So don't wait for the world to make you feel lucky. Become the cause, not the effect. Choose to feel it now and let life rise to meet you. Whether you realize it or not, you are always creating. At every moment, with every thought, every reaction, and every assumption, you are shaping the direction of your life. Creation is not reserved for a special few. It is not limited to artists, inventors, or so-called lucky individuals. It is a continuous process that flows through your consciousness, whether you are directing it intentionally or not. Many people live reactively. They respond to life based on what they see, hear, or experience in the physical world. They believe they are merely observers, that life is something happening to them. But in truth, they are powerful participants in a feedback loop, constantly impressing their inner beliefs onto the world and then receiving experiences that reinforce those beliefs. The reality you experience today is not a coincidence. It is a reflection of what you have consistently accepted as true, whether consciously or subconsciously. If you believe life is a struggle, you will encounter evidence to support that. If you believe people can't be trusted, you will notice betrayal even where it barely exists. If you believe you are unlucky, you will unintentionally close yourself off from opportunities and interpret setbacks as proof of your belief. Now, here's the empowering truth. You can step into conscious creation at any moment. You can choose to stop reacting and start designing. When you understand that you are always creating, you begin to take your inner dialogue seriously. You become aware of the mental habits you've carried for years, the casual complaints, the limiting assumptions, the quiet doubts, and you begin to replace them with intentional, empowering thoughts. One of the most transformative shifts you can make is to begin assuming that you are incredibly lucky, that things work out for you, that life bends in your favor, and that what you seek is also seeking you. This is not blind optimism. It is a deliberate decision to create a new mental foundation. And once that new foundation is accepted emotionally and consistently, the results follow often in ways that seem effortless, even magical. But remember, creation is not limited to visualization sessions or spoken affirmations. It happens in the small, unnoticed moments, how you speak to yourself when no one is listening, how you react to difficulty, how you imagine your future when your mind wanders. Every one of these moments is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life, so whether you acknowledge it or not, you are always creating. The only question is, are you creating from fear or from faith, from habit or from intention, from doubt or from belief? When you begin to act as if you are the luckiest person in the world, you step into the role of a conscious creator, one who no longer waits for life to change, but transforms life from the inside out. Most people are taught from an early age that success and good fortune come only through hard work, sacrifice, and relentless effort. While effort has its place, it is not the ultimate cause of transformation. There is something far more fundamental that precedes all visible results, your state of being. It is this internal atmosphere, the mental and emotional condition you live from, that determines the outcomes of your actions. Effort without alignment often leads to frustration. But when your state of being is in harmony with your desires, effort becomes graceful, even minimal. To understand this, consider two individuals performing the same task. One is anxious, doubtful, and burdened by the belief that nothing ever works in their favor. The other approaches the task with calm confidence, trusting that things will unfold for their benefit. Though their outer actions may look the same, the energy behind those actions is vastly different, and so are the results. This is the subtle but profound truth that many overlook. You do not attract what you do, you attract who you are. When you act as if you are the luckiest person in the world, you are not depending on effort alone to carry you forward. You are stepping into a state of ease, receptivity, and certainty. You are no longer trying to force life to give you what you want. You are allowing life to meet you where you already stand in consciousness. That state of being, of already possessing the qualities you seek, is more powerful than hours of struggle disconnected from belief. This doesn't mean you sit back passively. It means that when you do act, your actions are inspired. They come from alignment rather than fear. You begin to recognize the right moment, the right idea, the right person, not through excessive planning, but through intuitive clarity. You move with purpose, not pressure. You make decisions more quickly because you trust your inner guidance more deeply. This is the advantage of someone who lives from the identity of being lucky. Their effort becomes more effective because it is supported by a self-concept that expects success. Think of your state of being as the foundation of a house. No matter how skilled the builders, if the foundation is weak or misaligned, the structure won't last. Similarly, if your inner world is filled with doubt, fear, or unworthiness, no amount of effort will produce lasting fulfillment. But when your inner foundation is solid, when you carry the inner conviction that good things flow to you, that life supports you, that opportunities are drawn to you, then your outer world begins to reflect that in countless ways. So yes, work hard if you must, but more importantly, work on who you are while you work. The state you operate from will always matter more than the action itself. When your being is aligned with luck, the rest follows naturally. The outcomes you experience in life, your relationships, finances, opportunities, and even patterns of luck are not random. They are deeply rooted in the identity you hold of yourself. Your self-concept is the silent force shaping everything you attract, everything you allow, and everything you expect. It is not what you occasionally think about yourself that matters. It is what you consistently believe yourself to be. Most people attempt to change their life by changing external circumstances, switching jobs, moving cities, altering habits, but they overlook the most powerful shift of all, the transformation of identity. Who do you believe you are at the core? Are you someone things happen to, or someone things happen through? Are you someone who always has to struggle for progress, or someone who naturally attracts blessings? Your identity answers these questions before your actions ever begin. Now consider the impact of choosing to see yourself as the luckiest person in the world, not because of vanity, but because you understand that life mirrors your belief system. When you begin to identify as someone who is supported, favored, and chosen by life, your perception sharpens. You start noticing the chances others miss. You begin to interpret coincidence as confirmation. You recognize alignment rather than accident. From this elevated identity, even a minor event, a call, a delay, a conversation can become a bridge to something extraordinary. But identity cannot be changed through words alone. It must be felt into existence. You must begin to carry the emotional signature of the person you wish to be. This means practicing that feeling before any evidence appears. You rehearse the thoughts, emotions, and posture of the person who is already lucky, and in doing so, you build a new emotional memory that the subconscious accepts as real. This is where the transformation begins, not with effort, but with embodiment. As you consistently reinforce this new identity, your behavior changes automatically. You take risks you used to avoid. You radiate confidence. You say yes to new possibilities, not because you are trying to be someone else, but because your internal narrative has shifted. You are no longer acting from doubt. You are acting from truth, the truth of a self, concept aligned with success, and life responds accordingly. The outer world bends to match the inner image. People treat you differently. Doors open, delays dissolve, synchronicities multiply, not because you've manipulated life, but because you've finally stopped resisting who you were meant to be. So if you want your outcomes to change, start with your identity. Speak, walk, and feel from the place of someone who is already living in the flow of favor. Don't wait for luck to define you. Define yourself and watch as life follows your lead. In the end, acting as if you are the luckiest person in the world is not about pretending. It is about returning to the truth of who you are beneath layers of doubt, fear, and conditioning. It is about recognizing that your life is not dictated by chance, but shaped by consciousness. That what you assume, imagine, feel, and identify with becomes the very framework of your experience. You now understand that assumption is not passive, it is powerful. That imagination is not fantasy, it is creation. That feeling is not optional, it is the seed from which your world grows. That you are never not creating, and the state from which you create always matters more than how much you do. That effort without alignment is exhausting, but effort rooted in belief becomes effortless. And most of all, that who you believe yourself to be yourself. Concept is the silent author of your results. So step into this identity with courage. Walk as if luck walks beside you. Think as if doors are already opening. Feel as if everything is unfolding in your favor, because when you embody that inner reality, the outer world adjusts itself to reflect it. Life mirrors back not what you wish for, but what you accept as true. You don't need evidence to begin. You only need a decision to assume the best, to imagine boldly, to feel deeply, and to identify with a version of yourself that already lives in flow, grace, and favor. That is the path of the truly lucky, and it is not reserved for a few. It is available to anyone who dares to believe. So from this moment on, don't just hope for luck. Live from it, act from it, be it, and let the world show you what's possible when you do. Thank you.